Hi, good morning. We will continue the recording with team Envision, who worked for 2 semesters with the community of Gillespie, north of Edwardsville, and the organization is called Grow Gillespie. So you have the floor.
Awesome. We are Team Envision, and we had the pleasure of working closely with Grow Gillespie over the course of the fall and spring semesters. This is our final campaign report. I'm Kaylee Coyle. I'm the account manager. I am studying applied communication studies with a focus in public relations and a minor in psychology.
I'm Sydney Lombardi. I'm the account copy. I'm majoring in applied communication studies with an emphasis in public relations and a minor in mass communications.
I'm Mallory Jones. I was the design executive. I have a major in applied communication studies with a focus in public relations and a minor in psychology.
I'm Andrew Alsman. I was the account executive of analysis. I'm majoring in applied communication studies with a focus on public relations and a minor in mass communications.
And I am Victoria Foltz. I am the account executive for traffic. My major is applied communication studies with a focus in public relations, and my minor is mass communications. So our client, Grow Gillespie, was founded in April 2018 by President Dan Fisher, along with 11 other important members. It is a community organization who recently achieved their nonprofit status. They are focused on creating an inviting downtown to promote a desirable environment for future businesses. They encourage small town growth and awareness and help provide businesses with resources for professional development.
We focused on 3 goals during this campaign. Goal 1 being awareness, so we wanted to market to residents and those in the surrounding towns and host events to promote Grow Gillespie. Goal 2 was building relationships, so we wanted to build relationships between Grow Gillespie and businesses in Gillespie, and then relationships with additional stakeholders as well. And for Goal 3, we wanted to host the Heritage Food Festival. That way, vendors in the town and the surrounding community can gain exposure, and Grow Gillespie will in turn gain exposure as well.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the strategies and tactics that we use to achieve some of those goals. So for Goal 1, it was to increase awareness. So in order to do this, we created a Grow Gillespie brochure as well as a promotional video and disseminated these materials to the public. Goal 2 was to build some relationships. So to do this, we created some flyers on Grow Gillespie that were then kind of switched into a more digital format, of course, in response to COVID-19. But prior to COVID-19, we met with some local businesses, setting up some meet and greets, introducing ourselves, along with some of the members of Grow Gillespie too. We also promoted Grow Gillespie's monthly meeting attendance through a calendar of posts that were published to their social media so that the community could, see the location, the time of the meetings, and if they wanted to, they could attend. And of course, Goal 3 was about promoting the Heritage Food Festival. So we promoted this event through a few different print materials, including a flyer and a banner. We also utilized some social media to promote the festival. We created an event page to be used as like a central hub for some information pertaining to the festival. We also utilized some local news media to run a press release that Andrew wrote that incorporated a lot of the businesses and vendors that we were having in the festival. Even though, unfortunately, that we were unable to actually host the event, we did have some pretty thorough planning depicted in our report, which serves as a blueprint for Grow Gillespie to use once the event can actually be scheduled. So I'm going to pass it along to Victoria, who's going to talk more about some of the campaign theme and messages.
All right, so our campaign theme was Together We Can Grow. Since the organization promotes small town growth and awareness, some of our messages in our campaign is that small town growth is achievable. Our job was to educate the community on Grow Gillespie and their initiatives. And by showing the community members it is their turn to help aid in the growth and success of their town by joining Grow Gillespie.
This was a questionnaire that we have provided to Grow Gillespie to evaluate the event itself. So they will hand it out to the publics that attend the event, and then they can use the results to better plan future events. So during our campaign, we used two different theories. One theory is the four models of public relations. It was founded by Grunig and Hunt in 1984. It focused on the four models are press agentry or publicity, public information, two-way asymmetrical, and two-way symmetrical communication. Two-way communication exchanges information like a dialogue between the organization and its publics. We focused primarily on two-way symmetrical communication because it was crucial in understanding what our audience wanted from us and what we were able to provide to them. The second theory was the behavioral model of public relations. It was founded by Jackson in 1999. It focuses on building relationships and calling to action. The five-step model is building awareness, developing latent readiness, triggering the event, intermediate behavior, and behavior change. So during our campaign, we built awareness through promotional materials and other advertising, and then urged the audience to attend the event.
So for our research methods, we conducted two types of research. We did primary and secondary. So for our primary research, we also did two types. We did qualitative and a quantitative approach. I was tasked with doing the qualitative approach, so I conducted in-depth interviews with the president of the organization, Dan Fisher, to kind of get an internal view of the organization and how they work. I also interviewed the mayor of Gillespie, John Hicks, just to kind of see the insight on how the town also views the organization and what the organization does to improve the community and somebody who is a part of the community. So for the quantitative approach, we utilized survey research method. We distributed an online questionnaire asking some demographic questions, awareness of Gillespie, as well as some interest in attending events hosted by Grow Gillespie in Gillespie. So Kaylee is now going to talk into a little more detail on some of those results that we got from those questions.
So like Mallory mentioned, one of the questions we had asked was, have you ever heard of the town Gillespie? We had 180 people respond. 167 of those participants said yes, 10 participants said no, and 3 were unsure. Then the second question is, how likely are you to visit Gillespie for an event? We had 172 people answer this question. 67 participants were very likely, 56 participants were somewhat likely, 30 were neutral, 12 were somewhat unlikely, and 7 were very unlikely. This just shows that there is an awareness of Gillespie and that indeed people will come to Gillespie for an event.
As far as secondary research goes, I was responsible for finding information about the client organization itself. My job was to gain knowledge on the organization with research from organization files, websites, and other documents such as the U.S. Census Bureau, Grow Gillespie's action plan, previous meeting agendas, and their print compositions for their future streetscape project.
So springboarding off of that, we also wanted to gather information about similar organizations and events. Some of those similar organizations that I found were the Staunton Chamber of Commerce and the Highland Rotary Club. These two organizations were very similar to Grow Gillespie in the sense that they were smaller cities with populations that they wanted to grow and with a budding business clientele. So we were able to implement some of the things that these organizations had tried and in our strategy with Grow Gillespie, as well as some things that we wanted to steer clear of because these organizations had tried them and they hadn't worked out. We also wanted to research some similar events to the Heritage Food Festival, and I stumbled across Italian Fest in my research, which is an annual event put on in Collinsville, Illinois, very similar to what we were looking to do at the Heritage Food Festival, and it is extremely popular. So we were able to take some of those ideas and implement them while we were planning for the Heritage Food Festival.
And then we also looked at information about the media presence and social media. So Facebook was the primary social media app that was being used, and we looked at the analytics and ways that we could promote it. And then we also looked at improving the Instagram, which wasn't as active, and we were looking to do more with that.
So it's kind of hard to reflect on our campaign simply because we weren't able to put on the event due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But we were able to kind of look back at our planning and some things that we did accomplish with the client organization that is, we think will lead to great success and growth moving forward. We were able to increase the awareness amongst Gillespie residents. That was a goal going into this, that we wanted to make sure that people within Gillespie knew of Grow Gillespie and the works that they were doing in the community and the growth that they were pushing for. We also wanted to increase their social media following and heighten their engagement and responses on those social media platforms. Both of those things were accomplished, as our analytics were able to show. We also wanted to spread the message of Grow Gillespie to the community and the surrounding areas. We were able to do this through different press releases, through social media, through advertising, things like that. We also wanted to plan the Heritage Food Festival, obviously, for the spring, which we were able to do. We promoted it heavily through social and print media. The only thing we weren't able to do was obviously put that event on. Possible areas of improvement based on our reflections, pushing deadlines a little bit better with the client organization. There were times where we could have been better about making sure that we stayed on task in the meetings and pushing them to meet certain deadlines rather than talking about other things, as well as pushing out more social media content. When we came onto the scene, Grow Gillespie didn't have much of a social media presence, and it wasn't very, there wasn't a ton of quality in their social media. And we were able to work hand in hand to help heighten the content and the quality of the content. And that was something that we tried to do throughout our campaign.
So for our campaign budget, we started with an overall budget of $2,100. We allocated money for 5 main categories, these categories being venue, supplies, publicity, music, labor. And before the event was canceled, we did come under budget at $1,475. However, because of the recent events of COVID-19, the event ended up costing the organization $559.07 due to non-refundable costs of supplies and publicity that is still going to be useful for future, so it is not a total loss.
So throughout this campaign, we had several target publics. We had our primary target publics who were the people who work in or near the town of Gillespie, as well as those who live in Gillespie. We wanted to target them with advertising materials such as banners and flyers. This way, as they kind of walk down Main Street or as they drove down Main Street, they would be able to see our client organization's brand, as well as when we started promoting the Heritage Food Festival, they were able to see what the event was about, and we were able to garner interest in it. We also wanted to target this group with social media and a strategy that made them more aware of our client organization, as well as some of the things going on right within their own city. Our secondary target publics were those in the surrounding communities who were seeking to support local and small businesses. We wanted to target them with newspaper ads and press releases, which we were able to do, as well as a social media strategy more geared toward bringing them into Gillespie and checking out some of the smaller businesses that they were hoping to grow.
So for our reflection on barriers and accomplishments, our campaign had many strengths, some of those being having a dedicated team. All of us have different backgrounds, different strengths, and we were really able to bring all of those together and accomplish what we did. We also had really good client team communication. We were really lucky to have a team that was able to just email us with any updates and let us know what's going on. And then another thing that was really helpful was the client's connection. It made it really easy to reach out to businesses and get them to join in the Heritage Food Festival. And then another plus was having an accommodating budget that just kind of relieved the stress and was easy to come up with different things for the budget. And then some of the weaknesses were, although we had conflicting schedules and it was hard for us to get out there, we did meet weekly over Zoom with Gillespie, and they made several trips out here as we made some out there as well. So we still were in constant contact with them. It was just hard to get our schedules together to go there. And then the steps of approval, just getting it approved by everyone, took a significant amount of time, but it was our best work, so it wasn't a bad thing. And then for our event, some of the strengths was we definitely raised awareness. Through our Facebook analytics, we were able to see that the engagement increased significantly. And with Mallory doing the promotional materials, that really helped get the word out there. And our thorough planning and accommodating budget. And then for the weakness, it was just timely decision making, but that was also just to make sure we put forth our best effort, and all ideas were brought to the table. And then for the barrier, obviously COVID-19, it wasn't able to happen, but we did learn a lot. Some of our learning moments were learning how to work together and bring our skills together, and that not everything is in our control, and that it's good to have a backup plan. And then the main takeaway was communication. We really learned how to master that.
So our team Envision consisted of 5 members. Each member was assigned a specific job title at the beginning of the semester. We have our account manager, Kaylee, who was the leader of the group and served as the liaison between the client organization and the student team. She was responsible for administrating each meeting as well as documenting each meeting agendas. Next, we have Sydney as our copy executive. She was the editor of the team and was in charge of catching any mistake the team would make in any written document. She also managed the client's social media accounts. After her, we have Mallory, our design executive. She was responsible for the entire look of the campaign. Her job consisted of making countless edits of promotional materials for the client organization and as for the event itself. Next, there is myself, the traffic executive. I was responsible for the flow of the workload of the campaign, as well as made sure all the members were aware of deadlines. I was also in charge of the campaign's budget and made sure to always have a running total on expenses to ensure we never went over budget. And last, there is Andrew, our analysis executive. He was responsible for overseeing the work of the team and to reach out and create media connections. He was able to secure promotional ad space as well as created a news release for the Heritage Food Festival. And our team as a whole was able to work cohesively and respectively while creating a successful campaign. The team also communicated with the client organization with professionalism and respect, always hearing the needs and wants of the organization and transforming them into successful ideas.
Okay, so before we get into some of the materials that we made, these are just some of the logos that were presented on most of the materials. So as you can see, our Envision team logo, Grow Gillespie already had a logo for themselves, so we built basically every other promotional material with the foundation from this logo, so especially on the color green. The Heritage Food Festival logo went through several revisions and even a few name changes actually until we got it just right. As you can see, we incorporated just a little bit of our own logo into the Food Festival logo, just a small way with the sun rays. We built the foundation with the green and used some gradient effects to kind of make it pop. And then you can see, and you've seen it in a couple of previous slides, that Together We Can Grow as the campaign theme message logo. So now I'm going to show you just how we kind of incorporated these fundamental elements in our printed materials. So as you can see first, there's the Grow Gillespie brochure, which admittedly took the longest to create and finalize. We went through several revisions and changes, design changes, especially just to get it as perfect as we possibly could and the idea and the vision that the client wanted for it. So Grow Gillespie is trying to build a better community, and we wanted that to be clearly depicted in the brochure. So we featured the main efforts that Grow Gillespie has done so far with the Streetscape project. You can see that on the inside panels up at the top. You can see the proposed Streetscape project as well as what it looks like right now. You can also see the group shot of the Grow Gillespie members, as many as we could get when we took this photo, as well as their contact information, their social media information, why you should join Grow Gillespie. We really wanted this to be as useful to those in the community who may not know about Grow Gillespie, as well as a really nice piece of information that the organization can use to hand out whenever they need it. So next, Grow Gillespie came to me asking for a, oh, go back, Sydney.
Sorry.
Grow Gillespie came to me asking for a drop piece to be distributed to the local businesses, but not yet responded to their business survey. So this drop piece features some information and a lot of the key elements from the brochure, especially the mural that you can see, as well as some logos and some pertinent information. The piece's job was to just kind of persuade and inform the businesses in Gillespie, on the benefits of joining the organization of Grow Gillespie and the benefits that they have to help promote and grow their business. So next, Sydney, I'm gonna go on to some more of the printed promotional materials. These are more relevant to the Heritage Food Festival. So as you can see, we made sure to keep things pretty consistent throughout this campaign, utilizing mostly the same format. So as you can see first, the flyer. This went through a few different edits as well, but we feel that our client organization is very happy, and I'm very happy with the way it looked and turned out once it was printed. We wanted to make sure that we highlighted the businesses, especially, and the vendors that were going to be in this festival with us, because Grow Gillespie is built on the foundation of building the businesses. We wanted to give the businesses as much of a platform to, in fact, grow and, you know, spread their own awareness as well. We also wanted to make sure we promoted our sponsors who were helping us to put on this event. Next, you can see the banner, which is pretty similar to the flyers, kind of got the same format as well. Keeping in with that same idea of keeping everything consistent. Andrew wrote a really nice press release that was ran on a few local news media stations. So we made sure to, of course, incorporate some more of the foundational logos, of course, the Grow Gillespie logo, as well as our Heritage Food Festival logo. So on to some digital materials. The next slide, yes. These are some posts that we did on social media, specifically Facebook, promoting and linking newly updated Grow Gillespie website, which is a really, really nice addition and a nice change to their previous website. So we really wanted to make sure that people knew about it. So they're doing a really great job with response to the COVID-19 outbreak and providing the town with some really good quality information about some local businesses, their times, their hours, their own responses to what they're doing for COVID-19. And especially for the businesses in town with relief funding and the Paycheck Protection Program plan. So we really wanted to highlight what they were doing for the businesses, but we also wanted to make sure that they were still going to be marketed, because we did, you know, among all this madness and craziness right now, we wanted to make sure that they're not going to be forgotten. So there is just a very small little social media piece to just kind of promote themselves as a organization. And then, of course, there is the event page that we created as the Central Business Hub that I mentioned just briefly in previous posts. So we just created this to post relevant content, and we were able to also interact with some of the individuals that kind of, you know, posted and liked and shared our pages. So last but certainly not least, on the next slide is the Grow Gillespie video. Andrew and I shot this one day. We made a trip down to Gillespie and we shot some really great interview content from the members of the organization. As you can kind of see, we did some split screen stuff. We also incorporated a lot of lively images of the town and some of the programs that Gillespie has been involved with somehow. Like there was a 5K that they had hosted, and there's a lot of pictures about the community giving garden that they help with each year. So a good friend of mine and an editor put this all together for us, and we think he did a really great job. And the client is very happy with it, and it is going to be, well, it is actually up on their website right now. And social media postings are in the works. So next, I'm gonna pass it on to Sydney and talk about some of the impacts that the campaign had.
So for our campaign, the main takeaway for the campaign was that we gained knowledge of the efforts and mission of Grow Gillespie. We definitely spread awareness, and also together we can grow. I think we really accomplished that and did grow. And then for the event, although it was postponed, it showcased the main efforts of Grow Gillespie and their mission to help the community by fostering a prosperous business environment in Gillespie. And by doing that, we promoted local businesses, gave them some marketing, and put them out there. And it also brought the community together, and they could see what Gillespie is all about. And it changed the attitude of the town.
So overall, the campaign was a success. We gained knowledge necessary for holding a PR job in the future, which was kind of the point of this whole senior project. We created lasting relationships with Gillespie, the organization Grow Gillespie, and with each other. And we gained knowledge working and adapting through crisis times with COVID-19. This is our bibliography.
Okay,
Awesome.
well,
And thank you.
thank you all, and I'm, I'm hyped by the fact that we were able to record it in such a crisp condition. But can somebody tell us, because it's not going to be just us, the audience, but other people after I put it on a YouTube channel, why do you have all this background and what's that?
Yeah, so this mural is on the side of the Gillespie Coal Museum, and that is kind of like this central hub for like the history of Gillespie, where Grow Gillespie has their meetings and such. So it's kind of like just a centerpiece on Main Street in the town, so it's very important to them. So we wanted to show, a little bit of something for our,
Right. So,
our background.
so this will be anyhow an inherent historical document because it's a campaign during pandemic,
Yep.
and your images look like you are from the forever stamps. Okay, I followed their social media for Grow Gillespie, and actually I liked that they followed your piece of advice to keep their status during the pandemic months. And they became little by little a kind of a hub of information for new openings, for what's going on still in the community while people were back at their homes. So I think they will have a future as an organization because you helped them these 2 semesters. Thank you very much for your involvement, and I like very much working with you.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks.